Welcome to the Conscience of Kansas radio show with Paul A. Ibbotson, a no-nonsense conservative talk show that looks at the local, state, and national issues that affect the people of Kansas. And now, here's Paul A. Ibbotson.
We get to our next guest in Lila Rose. Lila Rose is the president of the Live Action. You can find her at liveaction.org. And Lila Rose would like to welcome you to the Conscience of Kansas radio program.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Well, you're very welcome. I was wondering if you could tell our Conscience of Kansas listeners a little bit about yourself and a little bit about this very interesting work you're doing at Live Action.
Sure. Well, my name is Lila Rose, and I am 21 years old. I just turned 21 yesterday. I'm a student at UCLA, but I'm also the founder of Live Action, which is a nonprofit which is built on young people, which works to expose abortion and the abortion industry and educate the public about the abuses that happen within it. And our young team of investigators actually goes undercover into the abortion industry, primarily Planned Parenthood, and we do undercover investigations. We post it online on our website, liveaction.org. We generate a lot of media and controversy and try to reach more people with the truth about what's happening inside Planned Parenthood clinics.
Well, that's very interesting. And first, Lila, let me say happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's very interesting, the work that you're doing. And folks that go to liveaction.org, when you go there, you can watch the video of your undercover work. And it is chilling what you'll see. When you go into these Planned Parenthood buildings and you talk and interact with these people, it's amazing what they say. Now, when you go in there and talk to them, you go in under the guise of being a pregnant teenager. Is that right?
Exactly. We have a team of young people who do these investigations, and I pose as well as girls that are underage, 13 or 14 or 15 years old, who are vulnerable, who are pregnant, going into these clinics and reporting to have boyfriends or partners that are twice their age or older, so they were victims of statutory rape.
Well, absolutely. And Lila, I'm a former police officer here in Kansas, a former Kansas chief of police, and I dealt with a lot of these situations. I spoke and interviewed young ladies that were 15, 14, 13, and unfortunately younger than that about this. And here in Kansas and in all states, we have laws about the age of consent, where you have the legal right to give consent to have sexual intercourse. And so if you go in and you tell someone, I'm 13 years old, and they interact with you as that, you're not at the age of consent. Is that correct in the states you've been working as well?
Exactly. I mean, we've been in states across the country saying that, we were minors, that by law, reporting much older boyfriends, health providers, Planned Parenthood, teachers are required to report that to authorities immediately to protect those children from further abuse.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's just no doubt about it. And it'd be the same way if you were here in Kansas at one of our Planned Parenthood places. Now, when you go in and you tell these caregivers, as they call them, that you're 13 and that your boyfriend is 31, what kind of instructions did they give you? What did they say when they found out that your boyfriend was not only adult, but that, twice your age or more at this case? What did they advise you?
Well, it's really stunning because when we go undercover into the Planned Parenthood clinics, posing as young as 13, saying, our boyfriend is 31 years old, what do we do? Planned Parenthood, instead of immediately reporting it, tries to cover up the abuse in order to procure a secret abortion. They tell a little girl that she should lie about her age on the paperwork to appear older, or that she should lie to parents or to other people about the age of the boyfriend so that he appears younger. They say that the boyfriend, the statutory rapist, can pay for it. They won't tell anybody. And ultimately, they become part of that coercion of that older man bringing the little girl to get an abortion and provide these secret abortions for these children, sending them right back to the arms of sexual predators.
Absolutely. Absolutely, in my opinion, that once they are aware, of course, the failure to report a crime, but it seems like in the videos that I'm watching, and folks can go to liveaction.org and they can watch the videos for themselves, but it seemed to me that they become part of a conspiracy in a way to continue the youth going back to a sexual offender, and that they become part of perpetuating the continuance of this crime.
Exactly, and this is something that's widespread across the country, where Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion chain in our nation, is going hand in hand with sexual predators who are paying for secret abortion, $400 a pop, and not reporting it. In 2002, a study was done of over 800 Planned Parenthood clinics and affiliates, and that study found they had an actor posing as a 13-year-old girl doing phone calls. Mark Crusher of Life Dynamics found in his study that 91% of these abortion clinics, Planned Parenthood, told these little girls that they would not tell anybody about an older sexual partner, that it didn't matter, they didn't care, that the little girl could come in for an abortion and there'd be no questions asked.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And I hope radio listeners are letting that settle into their minds, because it doesn't matter whether or not you have a teenage daughter right now, or you have a young child, or you're going to have a child. I think that most parents want to know, one, they want to know what's happening with their child. And if their child doesn't matter if it's covertly or for any other reasons, it becomes pregnant, they want to be involved in that, and they have the right and responsibility as a parent. So the idea that Planned Parenthood would try to subvert that is terribly bothersome. But this seems to be overtly worse, in that they are trying to arm the child with information to subvert the system. They are recklessly sending them back to an offender. And, Lila, when I've interviewed these 13, 14-year-old girls, there's a reason why we have laws like this. These are these are children. When I talk about the sexual encounters or the pedophiles and stalkers that are after them, they look at these things from the eyes of a child. They look at it from a Cinderella kind of experience. They don't have real life experience yet. They don't understand that there are people out there that will take advantage of you, and that there are people out there that don't really care about you and want to use you. And so they don't have that life experience, and you can see that unfold when you talk to them. So the idea that someone would, in a professional capacity or in the community, would take advantage of these young people like this is just atrocious.
Exactly, and you have an excellent point there. The reason that laws are in place to make them mandatory reporters, to make abortion clinics, Planned Parenthood a mandatory reporter, is because children are not going to walk in and say, hey, help me, please. I have this sexual predator I'm dealing with. Like you said, there's Cinderella complexes. They don't understand how dangerous it is. They don't understand they're being manipulated, or they're too afraid to say anything. So if Planned Parenthood even suspects abuse, they're supposed to immediately report it. Instead, they're aiding and abetting the abusers. They're doing the exact opposite and sending little girls back to these cycles of abuse.